The time is precisely 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Chandima Veerakon. Headlines. The President says people should be informed correctly about bilateral decisions. The Indian Foreign Secretary concludes his official tour. The Foreign Minister says that work in friendship with all countries is government's aim. A warning issued on rectifying teachers' and principals' salary issues without protecting national salary policy. Governor's report on opening of schools to be sent to the Education Minister. Appropriation Bill 2022 will be presented in Parliament on Thursday. In foreign news, Pandora Papers reveal secret owners of UK property worth billions. In sports, Bubba Wallace becomes first black driver in 58 years to win a NASCAR Cup Series race. Local stories in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that people in both countries should be informed correctly about bilateral decisions. He mentioned this during the meeting with Indian Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla. The President emphasized the importance of working according the majority consent by explaining the benefits and drawbacks to the people. The two countries need to strengthen relations that prevailed in the 60s and 70s decades. The support of India is sought to take forward the proposal of former Prime Minister Sri Mavo Bandaranaike to make Indian Ocean a peace zone. The President pointed out to identify weaknesses and strong points in the 13th Amendment to the Constitution and act accordingly. This is in order to create the background for the Tamil community who has left the country to return. The President recalled that he made an open invitation to the Tamil community abroad at the UN to make it successful. The Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka said that Indian Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla concluded his third-day official tour productively. Issuing at a Twitter message, the High Commissioner said that the tour of Indian Foreign Secretary would further strengthen the Indo-Sri Lanka bonds. Mr. Shringla, before leaving the country today, met President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Indian High Commission said that they have discussed ways to enhance cooperation at all levels. Minister G.L. Pires says that the aim of the President is to work open and honestly with other states. As a policy, vistas of prosperity vision cannot be achieved in isolation. A dialogue is maintained with diplomats of the countries which work in cooperation with Sri Lanka, and attempts are made to take action geographically and through other boundaries to act at an international level. The aim is to address communities broadly at all possible opportunities. The voice of the country can be taken to the global stage through that. Action will be taken together with bilateral partners, organizations, regional groups and multilateral organizations. The country has been possible to work in cooperation with the highest level of international leaders and policymakers through international connections made recently. The main need of the government is to protect the people from harmful effects of global challenges. Government Medical Officers Association has warned that if action is taken to solve teachers' and principals' salary problems without protecting national salary policy, it will pave the way for trade union action that prevailed before 2003. Sending a letter to the President, the GMOA has requested to rectify salary anomalies of various sectors while protecting national salary policy. The association presented proposals in the August for the budget. In that, they have requested to rectify salary anomalies according to National Salary Policy Framework by increasing salary scale ratio. They have also requested to introduce a national allowance policy to public service. Health authorities have requested the government not to allow improper meetings when the COVID has been controlled with the opening of the country. Teachers and principals unions are getting ready to conduct protests from tomorrow. Doctors have also opposed the proposed trade union action by a group of teachers. During a media briefing in Colombo today, Minister S.M. Chandrasena pointed out that the number of COVID patients and deaths increased due to the protest by the teachers. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance. Like a father, like a mother.
Continuing with the local stories, the report prepared by provincial governors, educationists and health authorities on opening schools is scheduled to be handed over to Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. The Education Ministry said that thereafter the date of the schools to be reopened would be announced. Governors expect to open on the 21st of October educational activities of primary sections of schools with less than 200 students under provincial councils. Chief Government Whip Minister Johnston Fernando said in Parliament today that the Appropriation Bill 2022 will be presented in Parliament on Thursday. Meanwhile, State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna said that certain local television channels allocate 95% of their airtime to foreign teledramas. He said this has affected local creations. Therefore, he said that an extensive discussion should take place about the taxes charged on foreign films and teledramas. Minister Rohitha Abegunawardena says that the government will not repeal the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. He pointed out that the people voted for the present president and the government because they did not accept the 19th Amendment to the Constitution by the previous Good Governance government. Media spokesman of the Ministry of Power and Energy, Sulakshan Jayawardena, says that power interruptions experienced in certain areas of the country have been restored. Power failures occurred in the southern province, Panipitiya, Horana, Mathugama, Ratmalana, Dehiwala and other areas where electricity is distributed to Ambalangada grid substation. The defense attaché of the Embassy of Germany in New Delhi, accredited to Sri Lanka, Captain Gerald Cox, called on Commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Nishant Ulugethanna, at the Navy headquarters today. The meeting was the first official interaction between Vice Admiral Nishant Ulugethanna and Captain Gerald Cox. During the cordial discussion, they exchanged views on several matters of bilateral importance and long-standing relationship between the two navies. To conclude the local news, the headlines again. The President says people should be informed correctly about bilateral decisions. The Indian Foreign Secretary concludes his official tour. The Foreign Minister says that work in friendship with all countries is government's aim. A warning issued on rectifying teachers' and principals' salary issues without protecting national salary policy. Governor's report on opening of schools to be set to the Education Minister. Appropriation Bill 2022 will be presented in Parliament on Thursday. That ends the local news.
Just as love and freedom are important to a child, so too is knowledge. Encouraging their pursuit of knowledge is our most important responsibility as parents.
Sri Lanka Insurance Minimuthu education plans ensure a secure future for your child with a higher education fund, comprehensive protection and a range of additional covers. Minimuthu education plans for children who dare to dream. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddha Lepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddha Lepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddha Lepa Vidya Mahatmya.
And on the main news story, the Ministry of Health said 477 more COVID-19 patients were discharged from medical care today as they have recovered from the virus infection. This brings the total number of recoveries reported in the country to 477,851. Since the outbreak of the pandemic last year, Sri Lanka has recorded 521,218 cases of COVID-19. More than 30,200 patients are currently receiving treatment at hospitals, treatment centers, and at homes. Meanwhile, the death toll from novel coronavirus stands at 13,102.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddha Lepa Vidya Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhaleba.
And now in Watch Light.
Taking a look at Watch Light, the second phase of the national program to award NVQ3 for electricians will commence tomorrow. The program, implemented by the Public Utilities Commission, commenced in March. 2,000 electricians received NVQ3 so far. Tests for another 1,500 electricians will be conducted this month. That ends Watch Light.
World News.
Headlines of the world news. Pandora Papers reveal secret owners of UK property worth billions. An investigation finds French Catholic priest abused 216,000 victims since 1950. Evergrande investors kept waiting over major deal. The secret owners of more than 1,500 UK properties bought using offshore firms have been uncovered by a BBC investigation. The details are featured in the Pandora Papers leak of offshore financial documents and list property with an estimated value in excess of £4 billion. The owners include high-profile foreign politicians, individuals accused of corruption, and UK political donors. Ministers say they will bring in a new law when they have parliamentary time. The head of a panel investigating abuses by church members says some 216,000 children have been victims of abuse by members of the Catholic clergy in France since 1950. Jean-Marc Sau was speaking at the release of a lengthy report into sexual abuse in the French Catholic Church. He said the number could rise to 330,000 when abuse by lay members of the church was included. As investors wait for an announcement about the future of struggling Chinese real estate giant Evergrande, 2 more property companies are causing concerns over their ability to repay debt. On Monday, Evergrande's shares were suspended ahead of an announcement containing inside information about a major transaction. The firm is reportedly set to sell a large stake in one of its businesses. To end the world news, the headlines again. Pandora Papers reveal secret owners of UK property worth billions. An investigation finds French Catholic priest abused 216,000 victims since 1950. Evergrande investors kept waiting over major deal. That ends the world news.
And now in development news.
On to development news. The World Bank has decided to provide $500 million to develop roads connecting villages and towns. Minister Johnston Fernando said that government hopes to use the funds to develop about 3,000 kilometers of roads covering the entire country. Centers to collect agricultural crops and storage facilities will also be constructed in rural areas under the project. That ends development news.
Sports news.
And on sports news, it's motorsport and football. In motorsports, Bubba Wallace said becoming the first black driver in 58 years to win a race in NASCAR's Premier Series brought a lot of emotion. Wallace took his first NASCAR Cup Series win at Talladega Superspeedway on Monday after rain cut the race short with the 27-year-old in the lead. The last black driver to do so was Wendell Scott in 1967. Lewis Hamilton is launching a scheme that aims to boost the recruitment of black teachers in science, technology and math subjects. The project arises from the Hamilton Commission report addressing the lack of diversity in UK motorsport. Hamilton said the scheme focuses on identifying the best way to attract black talent to STEM teaching roles. And in football, a joint statement from UEFA and 10 of Europe's women's leagues say staging a men's World Cup every 2 years would be profoundly detrimental and fundamentally alter the course and development of the women's game. Co-signed by England's Women's Super League, the statement lays out possible negative impacts of FIFA's plans. It says careful reflection is needed after a very selective consultation. That ends sports news.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
And on business news, LCB Finance is getting ready to issue an initial public offering on the 26th of this month. They will list 125 million shares with voting rights on the Empower Board of the Colombo Stock Exchange on that day. They have planned to issue 75 million shares with voting rights at ₹4 first share and another 50 million shares with voting rights. That ends business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
On economic news, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka co-hosted the CBSL ADBI APAEA online macroeconomics conference for the second consecutive year in collaboration with the Asian Development Bank Institute and the Asia Pacific Applied Economics Association. This year's theme was Emerging Issues for Macroeconomic Stability. Inaugurating the conference, Governor of the Central Bank Ajit Niwad Cabral emphasized the importance of research for evidence-based decision-making, particularly in the midst of volatile economic and financial market conditions experienced globally at present. Dean and Chief Executive Officer of ADBI, Professor Tetsushi Sonobe, delivered opening remarks underscoring the need to broaden policy-oriented and collaborative research. That ends economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report.
And finally, on the weather report, the Met Department says heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in western, Sabaragamuwa, central, northeastern and southern provinces during the next 24 hours. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places elsewhere. That is the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, the headlines again. The President says people should be informed correctly about bilateral decisions. The Indian Foreign Secretary concludes his official tour. The Foreign Minister says that work in friendship with all countries is government's aim. A warning issued on rectifying teachers' and principals' salary issues without protecting national salary policy. Governor's report on opening of schools to be sent to the Education Minister. Appropriation Bill 2022 will be presented in Parliament on Thursday. On news overseas, Pandora Papers reveal secret owners of UK property worth billions. In sports news, Bubba Wallace becomes first black driver in 58 years to win a NASCAR Cup Series race. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.